Surah Rad. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alif Lam Mim Ra. These are the verses of the book. That which hath been revealed unto thee from thy Lord is the truth. But most men believe not. Allah is He, Allah is He who raised the heavens without any pillars that He can see. Then He established Himself on the throne. He has subjected the sun and the moon. Each one runs its course for a term appointed. He doth regulate all affairs, explaining the signs in detail, that he may believe with certainty in the meeting with your Lord. This verse we can have a brief explanation. What purpose does it serve to state that Allah is He who raised the heavens? Basically, the samawat. Let's keep the correct word over here. And we are approaching Surah Kahf slowly but surely. So at that time we'll have the explanation for the word samawat. It's actually not heavens. We have clarified that so many times now. Allah is He who raised the heavens raised the samawat without any pillars that ye can see. Now, what purpose does it serve that the heavens or the skies or the samawat is without pillars? The only purpose that it seems to serve is that there was a prevalent thought that the samawat is supported on pillars, the heavens or the skies is supported on pillars, and this seems to be what is mentioned in the Bible. But then the Quran clarifies that this is not so. How is it designed? It's not the way that people think it to be. It's nothing to do with pillars. So this is basically clarification of that point that you can see. Otherwise, it's so simple that in today's age, these points need not have been stated. But some people may wonder why are such apparently obvious things mentioned in the Quran. So this is the reason why it's mentioned in the Quran. Then He established Himself on the throne. He has subject the sun and the moon. Each one runs its course for a term appointed. So the sun and the moon will run its course, its orbit on a term appointed, till a term appointed. He doth regulate all affairs, explaining the signs in detail, that he may believe with certainty in the meeting with the Lord. And it is He who spread out the earth and set thereon mountains standing firm, and flowing rivers and fruit of every kind. He made in pairs, two and two. He draweth the night as a veil o'er the day. Behold, verily in these things there are signs for those who consider. And in the earth are tracts diverse though neighboring, and gardens of vines and fields sown with corn and palm trees, growing out of single roots or otherwise, watered with some water, yet some of them we make more excellent than others to eat. Behold, verily in these things there are signs for those who understand. If thou dost marvel at their want of faith, strange is their saying, when we are actually dust, shall we indeed be in a creation renewed? They are those who deny their Lord. They are those round whose necks will be yokes of servitude. They will be companions of the fire, to dwell therein for aye. They ask thee to hasten on the evil in preference to the good, yet have come to pass before them many exemplary punishments. But verily, so they ask thee to hasten the evil in preference to the good, yet have in preference to the good, yet have come to pass before them many exemplary punishments. But verily thy Lord is full of forgiveness for mankind for their wrongdoing, and verily thy Lord is also strict in punishment. And the unbelievers say, why is not a sign sent down to him from his Lord? But thou art truly a warner, and to every people a guide. This part of the verse, this is verse number 7, Surah Rad, chapter 13, verse number 7. This part of the verse basically, لِكُلِّ قَوْمٍ هَادٍ, and for every people, every qawm, every community, every nation, there is a guide. A person has been sent as a guide, basically a prophet and a messenger. So this is a prophet or a messenger has been sent to every people, to every nation, to every community. Allah doth know what every female womb doth bear, by how much the wombs fall short of their time or number, or do exceed. Every single thing is with him in due proportion. Now there is some issues that have been brought forth, especially in this age, that it says, Allah doth know what every female womb doth bear. Now, they say that even we know through ultrasonography or other techniques. So, there are 2 points basically. There are 2 ways in which we can, we have, by which we can explain their arguments, and the 2 ways are this verse. As far as this verse is concerned, it only says Allah doth know what every female womb doth bear. It does not say no one else knows. So this itself, it does not say Allah alone knows, but it says Allah knows what every female womb doth bear. It does not say no one else knows. And the second point of argument is, I mean, counter argument to that argument is, you may be able to come to a specific aspect of the child, the sex of the child, the gender of the child, male or female. But the other aspects you are not aware. No one can predict that. So that only Allah knows. Though this verse specifically does not refer to that only Allah knows. So we have given both the counter arguments to the argument raised that even we know. So the verse does not say that no one else will know. Some of the aspects will, it's possible to be known. This verse itself does not restrict that, limit that, does not refute that. He knoweth the unseen and that which is open. He is the great, the most high. It is the same to him whether any of you conceal his speech or declare it openly, whether he lie hid by night or walk forth freely by day. For each such person there are angels in succession before and behind him. They guard him by command of Allah. Verily, never will Allah change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. But when once Allah willeth a people's punishment, there can be no turning it back, nor will they find besides him any to protect. Now, this verse is so very important from a practical point of view. Verily, never will Allah change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. So if you don't make an effort, Allah will not change the condition, your condition. So if you want a change in the condition, then you have to put in some effort as well. So important from a practical point of view. Verily, never will Allah change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. It is He who doth, this is verse number 11, part of the verse. It is He who doth show you the lightning by way both of fear and of hope. It is He who doth raise up the clouds, heavy with fertilizing rain. Nay, thunder repeateth His praises, and so do the angels with awe. He flingeth the loud-voiced thunderbolts, and therewith He striketh whomsoever He will. Yet these are the men, the while they are disputing about Allah, He is mighty in power. To Him is due the true prayer. Any others that they call upon besides Him, hear them no more than if they were to stretch forth their hands for water to reach their mouths, but it reaches them not. For the prayer of those without faith is nothing but a vain prayer. Whatever beings there are in the heavens and the earth do prostrate themselves to Allah with goodwill or in spite of themselves, so do their shadows in the mornings and evenings. Say, who is the Lord and the sustainer of the heavens and the earth? Say, it is Allah. Say, do ye then take for worship protectors other than Him, such as have no power either for good or for harm to themselves? Say, are the blind equal with those who see, or the depths of darkness equal with light? Or do they assign to Allah partners who have created anything? Or do they assign to Allah partners who have created anything as He created, so that the creation seem to them similar? Say, Allah is the creator of all things. He is the one, the supreme, the irresistible. He sends down water from the skies, and the channels flow, each according to its measure. but the torrent bears away the foam that mounts up to the surface. Even so, from that ore which they heat in the fire to make ornaments or utensils therewith, there is scum likewise. Thus doth Allah by parables show forth truth and falsehood. For the scum disappears like froth cast out, while that which is for the good of mankind remains on the earth. Thus doth Allah set forth parables. For those who respond to their Lord are all good things, but those who respond not to Him, even if they had all that is in the heavens and on earth, and as much more, in vain would they offer it for ransom. For them will the reckoning be terrible. Their abode will be hell. What a bed of misery! Is then one who doth know that which hath been revealed unto thee from thy Lord is the truth, like one who is blind? It is those who are endued with understanding that receive admonition, those who fulfill the covenant of Allah and fail not in their plighted word, those who join together those things which Allah hath commanded to be joined, hold their Lord in awe and fear the terrible reckoning. Those who patiently persevere, seeking the countenance of their Lord, establish regular prayers, spend out of gifts we have bestowed for their sustenance, secretly and openly, and turn off evil with good. For such there is the final attainment of the eternal home. Gardens of perpetual bliss, they shall enter there, as well as the righteous among their fathers, their spouses, and their offspring. And angels shall enter unto them from every gate with a salutation, Peace unto you, for that ye persevered in patience. Now, how excellent is the final home! But those who break the covenant of Allah, after having plighted their word thereto, and out asunder those things which Allah has commanded to be joined, and work mischief in the land, on them is the curse. For them is the terrible home. Allah doth enlarge or grant by a strict measure the sustenance which he giveth to whomso he pleaseth. The worldly rejoice in the life of this world, but the life of this world is but like little comfort compared to the hereafter. The unbelievers say, Why is not a sign sent down to him from his Lord? Say, Truly Allah leaveth to stray whom he will, but he guideth to himself those who turn to him in penitence. Those who believe and whose hearts find satisfaction in the remembrance of Allah, for without doubt in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find satisfaction. For those who believe and work righteousness is every blessedness and a beautiful place of final return. Thus have we sent thee amongst a people before whom long since have other peoples gone and passed away, in order that thou mightest rehearse unto them what we send down unto thee by inspiration. Yet they do reject him, the most gracious. Say, He is my Lord, there is no God but He. On Him is my trust, and to Him do I turn. If there were a Quran with which mountains were moved, the earth were cloven asunder, or the dead were made to speak, this would be the one. I mean, in this verse, this is verse number 31, the usage of the Quran here is in the sense of its meaning, and not of its proper noun. The proper noun, the Quran, refers to the Quran that we are reading. Otherwise, the word Quran means recitation. So if there were a recitation with which mountains were moved, so if there were a Quran, so if there were a recitation, this is the intended meaning. In the sense of the meaning, this word has been used in this verse. If there were a recitation with which mountains were moved, or the earth were cloven asunder, or the dead were made to speak, this would be the one. So that is a recitation, and this is the recitation. But truly, the Quran, a Quran and the Quran, so referring to this Quran that we are reading. But truly, the command is with Allah in all things. Do not the believers know that had Allah so willed, He could have guided all mankind to the right? But the unbelievers never will disaster seize them, for their ill deeds or to settle close to their homes until the promise of Allah come to pass. For verily Allah will not fail his promise. Mocked were many messengers before thee, but I granted respite to the unbelievers, and finally I punished them. Then how terrible was my requital. Is then he who standeth over every soul and knoweth all that it doth like any others, and yet they ascribe partners to Allah. Say, but name them. Is it that ye will inform him of something he knoweth not on earth, or is it just a show words? Nay, to those who believe not, their devising seems pleasing, but they are kept back thereby from the path. And those whom Allah leads astray, no one can guide. For them is a penalty in the life of this world, but harder truly is the chastisement of the hereafter. And defender have they none against Allah. The parable of the garden, which the righteous are promised, beneath it flow rivers, perpetual is the fruits thereof, and the shade therein. Such is the end of the righteous, and the end of the unbelievers is the fire. Those to whom we have given the book rejoice at what hath been revealed unto thee. But there are among the clans those who reject a part thereof. Say, I am commanded to worship Allah and not to join partners with him. Unto him do I call, and unto him is my return. Thus have we revealed it to be a judgment of authority in Arabic. Now, why the Arabic has been stressed, we had explained uh, in the last one of our last sessions, possibly in the last session, that the first addressees of the Quran were those who understood Arabic, those whose mother tongue was Arabic, and even today, Arabic is the fourth most widely spoken languages. The fourth most widely spoken language amongst all the amongst the list of most widely spoken languages. So it's at number 4. It's a huge population which speak the language, and it's a living language, unlike some of the other languages in which some of the other scriptures are present. Thus have we revealed it to be a judgment of authority in Arabic, whether to follow their vain desires after the knowledge which hath reached thee, then wouldest thou find neither protector nor defender against Allah. We did send messengers before thee, and appointed for them wives and children, and it was never the part of a messenger to bring a sign except as Allah permitted or commanded. For each period is an appointment. Allah doth blot out or confirm what he pleaseth. With him is the mother of the book. With him is the mother of the book. The word used is Kitab. Whether we shall show thee within thy lifetime part of what we promise them, or take to us thy soul before it is all accomplished, thy duty is to make the message reach them. It is our part to call them to account. See they not that we gradually reduce the land from its outlying borders? Where Allah commands, there is none to put back his command, and he is swift in calling to account. Those before him did also devise plots, but in all things Allah is the devising altogether. He knoweth the doings of every soul, and soon will the unbelievers know who gets home in the end. The unbelievers say, no messenger art thou. Say, enough for a witness between me and you is Allah, and such as have knowledge of the book. So this brings us to the end of this chapter, the surah. Let's go back for a brief discussion for this particular verse, where it was mentioned about the mother of the book, or Kitab. Now, what exactly does it refer to? It has been opined, there is an opinion that it refers to the Quran. I hold a slightly different opinion. It is the book which is present with Allah, which is basically Kalamullah, a speech of Allah, so to say. And it is the book which was designed to act as guidance for the entire of humanity. And it is the book of which each of the books, starting from Sufi Adam to the Quran, all the books are present. So, for example, let us have the book of which there are different segments. I am calling it segments because we have, because for parts we usually use the word parts to refer to juz, which is a part of the Quran. So we're specifically using, or section is used for ruku. So I'm especially using a term which has not been used in any of the divisions of the Quran. So each of the segments can be considered to be a book, a booklet or a book, and these books are all the books that were intended for the guidance of mankind. So right from Sufi Adam to the Quran, all the books which is contained in the mother book, the Ummul Kitab, the mother of the book, the parent book, that is what is intended by this word. This is my opinion. So with this we come to the end of Surah Rad, and in the next session we'll continue with chapter number 14, Surah Ibrahim.